Well, this is news, isn't it? Ukraine asked for it. Ukraine asked for it like an abused wife asks her husband to give her a beating when she suggests she's going to go and get a job so she can have an independent income. That's how Ukraine asked for it. That's how Ukraine provoked Russia into action. Pope Francis says Ukraine war was perhaps somehow provoked, and then the subheader is Pontiff condemns cruelty of Russian troops while warning against perception of conflict as good and evil. No. I think you can call this good and evil. I'm not saying that the Ukrainians were saints, whoever is. But the population of Bucha did not ask to be shot in the head. Men, women and children. That's good versus evil. Going in and shooting up a town of people is evil. Shooting a cyclist coming along a road is evil. This is a conflict of good and evil. I'm sorry, I wish it weren't. I had a lot of respect for Russians and what they've been through and Russian culture and a great history, a short history, but a great one. I don't like to see a whole country as evil, and indeed I know there are people there who are not. But certainly the administration of Russia is evil, and they are doing evil things, and the pontiff, about as useful as our Archbishop of Canterbury by the looks of things. What's happened to the church? Does it not know the difference? You know, there's something in the Bible. They keep on saying this. Somebody did something, or a country did something, or people did something that was right in their eyes. He might have said they identified as right. Oh, I don't know, the Bible keeps cropping up a lot now. Pope Francis has said Moscow's invasion of Ukraine was perhaps somehow provoked. Oh, they're not really that guilty, just a little bit hot-headed, maybe. As he recalled a conversation in the run-up to the war in which he was warned NATO was barking at the gates of Russia. You know, we had a neighbour that they had this horrible little miniature poodle that barked all day. I would have liked to have shot that dog, but you don't do such things. It was barking at our gate all the time, so it barked. That's all there was to it. In an interview with the Jesuit magazine La Civiltà Cattolica, conducted last month and published on Tuesday, the pontiff condemned the ferocity and cruelty of the Russian troops while warning against what he said was a fairy tale perception of the conflict as good versus evil. No. You may agree or disagree that Russia had some nervousness about NATO. But you cannot disagree with the evil of sending troops into a place where they are likely to cause the most terrible, awful crimes to happen. Where they go into a town called Bucha and kill civilians, just line them up and kill them. Where a soldier would shoot a cyclist just riding along the road. This is good versus evil. You know, you may, when you put people, young men, untrained young men by the looks of things, into a situation where they are going to act like barbarians, you are to blame. This is evil, what you're doing. We need to move away from the usual Little Red Riding Hood pattern. Oh, so we are now resorting to fairy tales to bolster an argument, are we? What do you call the Pope as well? Your Excellency, your Eminence, your Holiness, that's it. Little Red Riding Hood pattern. In that, Little Red Riding Hood was good and the wolf was the bad one, he said. Something global is emerging and the elements are very much entwined. Oh, this is such high-flown, convoluted language that hides the real meaning. Francis added that a couple of months before the war, he met a head of state who, that should be whom, he did not identify but described as, quote, a wise man who speaks little, a very wise man indeed. He told me that he was very worried about how NATO was moving. I asked him why, and he replied, they are barking at the gates of Russia. They don't understand that the Russians are imperial and can't have any foreign power getting close to them. And that is it. And then the Pope doesn't think, well, yeah, they are the bad guys then. Yeah, just because you have a big bully living next door to you, does that mean you're to stop living your independent life? This whole thing, what is he thinking of here? He is the embodiment of the church. He has St. Peter's keys in his hand, the keys to heaven, doesn't he? And he doesn't know the difference between good and evil. What are Christian beliefs but good, heaven, evil, hell? He seems to have lost that. I mean, you know how I feel about most sects of Christianity, but I'm just talking about how the Pope is, what the Pope is supposed to be. When we have guidance here, and this is no guidance. How many millions of Catholics listen to his every word? He added, we do not see the whole drama unfolding behind this war, which was perhaps somehow either provoked or not prevented. Shortly before the invasion, Vladimir Putin had demanded NATO rule out allowing Ukraine, which borders Russia, into the military alliance. Look, we here in Britain are very annoyed that the EU is interfering in the legal processes to do with our with Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. We're annoyed about a little bit of legality. And we are not standing by and saying, OK, well, you know, this isn't a little bit of legality. This is a whole load of tanks and high explosives and orphans and widows and displaced people. But that's all right because they have the right to tell another country what to do in Russia. Oh, yeah, and then he says it was a violation of a country's right to self-determination. So, OK, right, it is a violation. So you just say that. It's a rape. Is that good or evil? If a woman walks down the street wearing a short skirt, a man might say, make the argument, well, she provoked me. I could see her legs. I couldn't help myself. I had to rape her. He's trying to have it both ways, this Pope, and you can't have it both ways. He's done a terrible thing by not telling people one way or the other. Look, if he says, according to the Catholic doctrine, Ukraine should have been passive and quiet and suffered whatever Russia had given her because that's the Catholic way. And if he'd have said that, then at least he would have given some sort of leadership on a moral situation. But he didn't. He's saying, well, it's a violation, but, well, it might have been provoked. In other words, I'm not going to come down on either side of the fence. And that's really what I'm annoyed about. And he was supposed to meet the Patriarch, Kirill, who is Putin's lapdog, in Jerusalem in June. But, you know, the meeting's been called off now. That Pope is a disgrace. He really is. And he's a disgrace in the same way as Welby's a disgrace. There's no leadership anymore. They're there at the top of their churches, wearing the fine robes and living a reasonably well cared for life and having people listen to them, and they are not making decisions. You are there to make decisions, Mr. Pope and Mr. Archbishop. And you're not doing that. And yeah, you're a big disappointment, I think. Well, to me anyway. All right. And I am Granniopteryx. I am to be found on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I let you know when I've uploaded a video on Twitter, Gab and Parler, and there my handle is @Granniopteryx. Please subscribe to one of those because I know that YouTube doesn't always tell you when I've uploaded a video, but I will always tell you. Okay, please like this video, share it. Subscribe. I know you are subscribed, but just check it out because that tends to drop off as well on YouTube specifically. Subscribe, contribute to the channel if you can, and I think that's it. You know, like, share, subscribe, yeah, contribute, yeah, that's it. Okay, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.